Rome, a city steeped in legend and history, traces its origins back to 753 BC. Legend has it that twin brothers Romulus and Remus founded the city. Abandoned as infants, they were miraculously saved by a she-wolf who nursed them back to health. Years later, the brothers decided to establish a city, but a quarrel over its location led to a tragic confrontation. Romulus killed Remus, becoming the sole ruler of the newly founded Rome. While the story of Romulus and Remus captures the imagination, the true origins of Rome are likely more complex. Archaeological evidence suggests human settlements existed in the region long before the traditional founding date. It's possible that over time, various villages in the area coalesced into a larger urban center, eventually becoming the city we know as Rome. The early Romans were a practical people focused on survival and expansion. For over 2 centuries, Rome was ruled by kings, some benevolent, others tyrannical. These early rulers laid the groundwork for Rome's growth, establishing institutions and customs that would shape its future. They organized the army, built temples, and expanded Rome's influence over neighboring regions. However, resentment grew towards the kings, particularly among the aristocracy who desired a greater say in governing. In 509 BC, a pivotal event occurred that would forever alter the course of Roman history: the overthrow of the last king, Tarquin the Proud. Accused of tyranny and abuse of power, Tarquin was driven out of Rome, and the monarchy was abolished. In its place, the Romans established a new form of government, the Republic. The Roman Republic marked a radical departure from the rule of kings. It was a system based on shared power, with elected officials serving for limited terms. The most powerful body in the Republic was the Senate, composed of elder statesmen who advised the magistrates and shaped Roman policy. The Roman Republic was not a democracy in the modern sense. Power was concentrated in the hands of the wealthy patrician class, who dominated the Senate and held most political offices. The common people, known as plebeians, had limited political rights and were often at odds with the patricians. At the heart of the Roman Republic was the Senate, a body composed of elder statesmen who served for life. The Senate's influence was vast, advising magistrates, controlling finances, and shaping foreign policy. However, the plebeians were not without a voice. Over time, they gained the right to elect their own representatives, known as tribunes, who had the power to veto laws deemed harmful to the plebeians. The struggle between the patricians and plebeians for political and economic rights would shape much of the Republic's history. The Republic's complex political system, with its checks and balances, was remarkably resilient. As Rome grew in power and influence, it inevitably came into conflict with other powers in the Mediterranean. One such rival was Carthage, a wealthy trading empire based in North Africa. The two powers clashed in a series of 3 epic conflicts known as the Punic Wars, which spanned over a century and profoundly shaped the destiny of Rome. The First Punic War, from 264 to 241 BC, erupted over control of the strategic island of Sicily. Rome, traditionally a land power, built a powerful navy to challenge Carthage's dominance at sea. The war was long and brutal, marked by naval battles, sieges, and heavy casualties on both sides. In the end, Rome emerged victorious, gaining control of Sicily and establishing itself as a major naval power. The Second Punic War, from 218 to 201 BC, witnessed the legendary Carthaginian general Hannibal Barca, leading his army, complete with elephants, across the Alps and into Italy. Hannibal inflicted a series of crushing defeats on the Romans, most notably at the Battle of Cannae in 216 BC. Despite these setbacks, Rome refused to surrender. Under the leadership of determined generals like Scipio Africanus, Rome gradually turned the tide. Scipio took the war to Carthage, defeating Hannibal at the Battle of Zama in 202 BC. In the wake of the Punic Wars, Rome experienced a period of internal turmoil and civil war. The Republic, weakened by corruption, social unrest, and the ambitions of powerful generals, struggled to maintain order. Out of this chaos emerged Julius Caesar, a brilliant general and charismatic leader who conquered Gaul, which is modern-day France, and emerged victorious from a civil war against his rivals. Caesar's rise to power marked a turning point in Roman history. He centralized power, reformed the government, and declared himself dictator for life. However, his reign was cut short in 44 BC when he was assassinated by a group of senators who feared his growing power. Caesar's death plunged Rome into another round of civil wars. Out of this conflict emerged his grandnephew and adopted son Octavian, who defeated his rivals, including the famed Mark Antony and Cleopatra of Egypt. In 27 BC, Octavian assumed the title Augustus, marking the end of the Roman Republic and the beginning of the Roman Empire. Augustus's reign ushered in a period of unprecedented peace and prosperity known as the Pax Romana, or Roman peace. The Pax Romana, spanning roughly 2 centuries from the reign of Augustus to the death of Marcus Aurelius in 180 AD, was a golden age for the Roman Empire. With internal peace secured and external threats contained, the Roman world experienced a period of unprecedented prosperity, cultural flourishing, and architectural grandeur. During this time, trade flourished across the empire, facilitated by a vast network of roads, sea routes, and a common currency. Roman legions maintained order on the frontiers, ensuring the safety of merchants and travelers. The wealth generated by trade flowed into Rome, enriching the coffers of the state and funding ambitious building projects. The Pax Romana was a time of great intellectual and artistic ferment. Roman literature flourished, with poets like Virgil and Ovid crafting epic poems and love elegies that would inspire generations to come. Roman architecture also reached new heights during the Pax Romana. The Colosseum, a massive amphitheatre capable of seating over 50,000 spectators, became a symbol of Roman power and entertainment. The Roman Empire's success rested in no small part on the might of its legions. The Roman army was a formidable force, renowned for its discipline, organization, and effectiveness. Roman soldiers were highly trained professionals equipped with standardized weapons and armor. They were masters of siege warfare, capable of constructing elaborate fortifications and siege engines to subdue enemy cities. The Roman army was organized into legions, each comprising around 5,000 soldiers, further divided into smaller units called centuries. Legions were deployed throughout the empire, garrisoned in fortified camps and cities, ready to respond to threats and maintain order. To support its legions and facilitate trade, the Romans constructed a vast network of roads spanning over 250,000 miles. Roman roads were marvels of engineering, built to withstand heavy traffic and harsh weather conditions. These roads connected Rome to the farthest reaches of the empire, allowing for the rapid movement of troops, messages, and goods. The Romans were also masters of water management, constructing elaborate aqueducts to bring fresh water to their cities. By the 3rd century AD, the Roman Empire, once seemingly invincible, began to show signs of strain. A series of crises, both internal and external, weakened the empire from within, paving the way for its eventual collapse. Internal struggles played a significant role in the empire's decline. A succession of weak or corrupt emperors, often more concerned with personal power than the welfare of the empire, led to political instability and weakened the central government's authority. The empire faced growing economic challenges. Constant wars had drained the treasury, while inflation and excessive taxation burdened the population. Trade declined as the empire became less secure, further weakening the economy. External threats also mounted during this period. Germanic tribes, pushed westward by the Huns migrating from Central Asia, exerted increasing pressure on the empire's frontiers. The Roman army, once the bedrock of the empire's security, struggled to contain these threats, weakened by internal divisions and a decline in the quality of recruits. The Western Roman Empire eventually succumbed to the pressures of barbarian invasions, economic decline, and political instability. In 476 AD, the last Roman emperor in the West, Romulus Augustulus, was deposed by the Germanic general Odoacer, marking the traditional date for the fall of the Western Roman Empire. The Eastern Roman Empire, centered on Constantinople, proved more resilient, surviving for another 1,000 years as the Byzantine Empire. The Byzantines preserved much of Roman culture, law, and traditions, influencing the development of Eastern Europe and the Middle East. The legacy of Rome extends far beyond its political and military achievements. Roman law, language, literature, architecture, and engineering have had a profound and enduring influence on Western civilization. The Roman Empire may have fallen centuries ago, but its influence continues to resonate through history, a testament to the enduring power of its ideas and achievements.